And I'm back. Had fun at maps tonight. Got myself a good break, got some food and drink. Here I am. Excited to actually go to Garlemald, like things we're about to do. So let's talk to Tatar. Frosty reception. I'm told the airship pilot has been sent to meet you. Ah, there he is. Alright, this is where we go our separate ways. Do be careful, won't you? Ooh, looks like we're about to have like a fight and shit. So Sterling's, yeah. Honor to finally meet you. We of Garland Ironworks will be ferrying you and your contingent across the mountains and into Garland. For many of us, it will be something of a homecoming. Our illustration's founder is only our most notable Imperial defector. For that reason, the company is committed to the success of this expedition. Our resources are at your disposal. If there's aught we might do to be of further assistance, please do not hesitate to ask. If you're ready to depart, I will ready the engines. Yeah. Looks like there's a lot about to happen. I guess it's a good thing I held off. Yeah. So. Yeah. Generally when they have like this rainbow effect around them, usually you're gonna participate in battles. I think it says here, so. I usually like fail a lot. This is the first time they do it, because I'm bad. Okay. Proceed.
Ilsabad, divided in twain by a vast mountain range. Those who would traverse its jagged peaks face peril at every step. But why go by foot when one can simply fly? On the outskirts of the Imperial capital, in the frozen wastes of the Magna Glacius, the winds howl in icy protest, as if to warn against further trespass.
We've received word from Thancred's reconnaissance party. They've sighted a detachment of heavily armed Imperials.
Survivors of the Civil War, perhaps?
Perhaps, but there is more to it than that. Maxima reports that they're led by Vergilia, legatus of the 3rd Legion, which comprises the bulk of their number. However, they are also joined by several members of the 1st.
From what I recall, the 3rd Legion fought for Nerva in the War of Succession following Varus's death. The 1st, on the other hand, were under the direct command of the Emperor and rejected Nerva's claim to the throne. These legions were enemies.
Indeed. In fact, our sources claim that it was a conflict between them that sparked the Civil War. Yet now these former foes cooperate to defend a ruined Garlemald from invasion.
Then it is all but certain they have been tempered.
So, what's the plan? If me and my crew is out reaving, we charge straight in, no messing about. But that ain't what we're here for.
Quite right. Soldiers or no, they are people of Garlemald, the very ones we have come to aid. Direct confrontation is unavoidable. Nevertheless, we must make every effort to limit casualties on both sides. Rather than kill them, I would remove them from the field.
How so? Savage beatings, disarmament, and imprisonment? Not impossible, but easier said than done in the heat of battle.
Having observed the opposition, I imagine Thancred had something to suggest?
He did. He and the other scouts have already infiltrated a supply depot some distance beyond the Imperial detachment's current position. Stored within is a stockpile of Magitech armaments, and once we give the signal, Thancred's team will destroy them all. In so doing, we will deprive frontline troops of materiel, and likely force the detachment to send men to investigate.
Divide and conquer. Not a bad idea.
Once the scouts have finished their preparations, we will split into two groups. The first will form the vanguard, while the other brings up the rear with our supplies. As for the Scions, I ask that you lend your assistance where you deem it needed most. I would prefer, however, that you accompany the rearguard and be prepared to join the van at a moment's notice. Kept in reserve as our trump card, so to speak.
Is the Boja relic armor on?
Your proposal was well received. More specifically, they asked that we destroy the Imperial's toys in as spectacular a fashion as possible.
Ishtola always did have a flair for the dramatic. She's not an easy woman to please, but I shall do my best to satisfy her thirst for fireworks. All right, once more for my peace of mind. Our first objective will be to rig the enemy's Magitech with explosives. After we've withdrawn to a safe distance, we'll detonate them remotely. Our second will be to issue a deactivation command to the automated units via the control terminal. If our calculations are correct, this signal should reach those deployed on the front line, giving our friends a much-needed upper hand. The blizzard will help us stay hidden, so let's aim to get in and out before it passes. Trust in the plan, and we should all live to see tomorrow.
In the meantime, I will relay messages back and forth as the situation unfolds. You'll forgive me if I ask again, but are you certain you wish to play the lone wolf?
Wouldn't have it any other way. Call it foolish and reckless if you like, but I'll get the job done. I always do.
Very well. I wish you the best of luck.
Alright. I'm role-playing as Thancred. Cool. Right.
Keep your
let's get
wits
this.
about you.
It's time. We only have one shot at this, so let's make it count. Must be losing my touch. Must be losing my touch. Damn, spotted.
Fucking playing a stealth game in FF. Pretty interesting. Okay, no, there is a threat awareness sign. Let's see. Kind of like Persona, yeah.
Damn, spotted.
Okay, it doesn't work on the slash ones.
This is Thancred. The explosives are in place.
Very good. All is proceeding as planned. Head to the control terminal. It should be to the northwest.
Understood. Have the others wait at the rendezvous point. Damn, spotted.
Okay, I managed to do it.
You are returned, and none the worse for wear, to my considerable relief.
What news from our comrades?
They stand at the ready.
Excellent. Then let the fireworks begin.
The blizzard's beginning to clear. The Vanguard should be engaging the Imperials any moment now, if they haven't already. Ishtola and the others are with them, so I'm sure they'll be all right, but... Wait! Something's coming!
Oi, oi! Looks like we ain't the only ones who sent out scouts. Keep them away from the carriages! We lose those, and we're as good as dead.
Fighters! Protect the others!
A brief respite, but stay alert. Keep the carriages safe.
How about the
What impeccable timing! Fear not, friends! The savior of Ishtar is here!
wow, the vocal version of that Endwalker thing.
A fine display, but the other carriages are still in danger. Go on ahead. We'll hold the line.
Okay. Okay,
We're the only ones still struggling. Time we put our backs into it then. I've been itching for a good scrap.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna stop you.
You lot all right back there? We're fine and ready for more. Hear that? Get to the front and turn the tide.
Removed from the field was not a euphemism for enthusiastically murder.
It's nothing that won't heal. In time.
Boy.
The trouble is, their tempering has made them utterly fearless. Subduing them would be easier if they had the capacity to submit in the first place.
Well, this is the path our young charges would have us walk, and that we all agreed to follow. You knew it would be hard, yet still you pledged your lance, did you not?
That I did.
Oh, there's the commander now.
That's Vergilia. Damn it. I need to help the others take her down.
There's no end to them!
I was wondering when you'd turn up. There's no stopping us now. Come on, let's show them what we're made of.
Hey, let's go. I'm gonna take this bastard out.
We have them now! Forward!
Right! Let them have it!
As a raging bull!
Oh wow.
That's her! Vergilia!
Do not fall behind!
Yeah. Fire. I'm 6-7, armor question 5.
Tremble before the sun!
May your screams fill the air! A worthy adversary! Rest, recover, reclaim yourself. Then we will fight again, to the death. Sadu Hatun!
Again, cucked.
That was the last of them. The day is ours, thanks to your timely arrival. What of the supply caravan? Outmaneuvered, but not outmatched. Good. Let us take the Imperials into custody and rejoin our comrades. And soon we shall arrive at the capital.
Oh yeah. Oh, there it is.
So cold and unforgiving. Thus spoke Emperor Solus as he gazed upon his barren domain. "800 years it had been since the Garleans first set foot here. Bested by the Kovosi after centuries of war and driven from fertile southern pastures into the blasted northern wastes. In that garden of desolation, they clung to one another for warmth, freezing, hungry, desperate, hated. The chosen forsaken. In the year 1513 of the 6th Astral Era, a young legatus named Solus single-handedly sparked the Magitech Revolution. How did he conceive the machina that feed on ceruleum? Once a common, soft-spoken soldier, how had he so quickly ascended through the ranks? Like so many others, those who knew the truth are gone. Taking in the capital with his eyes for the first time, I recall thinking to myself, far colder on the earth than in the heavens. Yes, far colder indeed. Bitterly so.
Finally arrived.
Not so much as a whisper.
The roads leading beyond the city walls would have been used less in recent years. Nevertheless, this was one of the most important gateways into the capital.
A buzz day and night with activity, aye. Merchants passing through the checkpoint, many of them stopping at the local hostelries.
Surely they cannot all have been tempered.
We can consider the question after we have made camp. If we spend any longer outside, we may well freeze to death where we stand. The tempered Imperials, too.
This will be our temporary base of operations. Secure shelter for ourselves and the injured, and dispatch scouts to survey the surrounding area.
If we're planning on staying here a while, we ought to give this place a proper name.
Well, the constant sound of ice cracking underfoot makes me think of broken glass. An apt name, perhaps. But enough of this. To work, everyone!
First time I'm in Garland. Finally. Been fighting them forever. It's crazy. Now I'm here. In spite of obstacles we faced, our plan proceeds apace. Just a little further, and we will reach the capital itself. Still, we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. As soon as the camp has been made fit for purpose, we're to discuss a course of action with Lucia. Mind you asking Ishtola and Graha to join us in the building to the northeast of the camp? Alcai and I will meet you there. Meaning, yes? I'll make my way over there once my head is cleared. In truth, I'm feeling out of sorts since we've arrived. Air is thick with a palpable air of malevolence. 'Tis a monstrous tower on the horizon, jagged, hideous, and holy. Even at distance, its presence is overwhelming. Much like the sensation I felt in the Tower of Zot, only far more terrifying. Ether flows unceasingly towards it, converging into a swirling mass of unfathomable power. For a blessing, the constant show in the air is helped to anchor my senses in the here and now. Tell the others I shall be with you in a few moments. Sweet. Speak with Graha now. You'd be pleased to know that most of the Tempered have been quartered inside the nearby buildings and are receiving treatment as we speak. I do, however, feel no small amount of guilt for commandeering civilian homes. The occupants may be long gone, but everything is exactly as they left it. Considering the length of time that has clearly passed since, one would expect to find them ransacked. Strangely, there are no signs of anything having been stolen. It's possible that every fled at the first sign of trouble, though it seems to me they've left far too many useful possessions behind. Although there is no conclusive evidence, I strongly suspect they were tempered. Sorry, I was merely thinking aloud. You mentioned the meeting? I'll make my way there. Actually, we should repair. There's the hello, so let's repair now. Thank you for informing. No. Thank you for informing the others of our meeting. When everyone is here, we will begin.
Our present situation is as follows. Efforts to aid the people of Garlemald have begun in earnest. Moreover, having entered into the capital, the Imperial Palace is within our reach.
But before we proceed further, we must learn what has befallen this city. For therein lies the key to understanding and combating the Telophoroid's designs.
I have a suggestion, if I may. Several of the Imperial soldiers we captured on the Magna Glaciers are members of the Populares and acquaintances of mine. Once we have cured them of their tempering, they should be able to give a reliable account of the events leading to the capital's downfall.
A promising idea. I will assist the healers and their ministrations. Of course, I will require a proxy of my own, assuming you can spare one.
Would you like a hand?
No, I am sure we will manage. Better that you take my place in the field. The noxious ether of this place disagrees with me, and as I shall need to draw on my own for the treatment, 'twill be prudent for me to remain within the camp.
This talk of curing the tempered is all well and good, but I reckon the cold is a more pressing concern. All the houses round here are fitted with ceruleum heaters that could keep us warm and toasty. Problem is, the machines seem to have given up the ghost, and if we keep sitting around, freezing our asses off, we'll be next. My smiths reckon that with the right parts, they can have them working again, but it won't be easy.
Understood. The machinists will assist them in the repairs.
The rest of us should either stand watch or survey the area.
We've made our presence known to the Telophoroi. They will be searching for us, if they have not already ascertained our position. That we have seen no sign of them since the battle suggests they have yet to do so. However, I suspect they may be biding their time.
Or perhaps we are beneath their notice.
In any event, we'll find no answers standing around here. Urianger, Estinian and myself have visited Garlemald recently, so we'll lead the reconnaissance efforts. Perhaps bolstered by a few Bosnian and Dalmatian scouts from my previous excursion for good measure.
Don't forget about us Alamegans. We have experienced scouts of our own.
Well now, this is turning out to be a rather sizable team. With such numbers, we should be able to cover a wide area with relative ease, including that surrounding the Imperial Palace. How about you, Graha? I have a feeling we'll find a use or two for that vanishing spell of yours.
'Twould be my honor to be of service. Though I doubt that you of all people need rely on my tricks.
That leaves us with guard duty.
As a matter of fact, I have something else in mind for the two of you and Alphino. Between here and the center of the capital lies the Eblan Rhine. I would have you search the area for survivors. Your keen sense of direction, honed in your extensive travels, should prove useful in navigating the ice fields. I have faith that you will, and look forward to greeting you on your safe return. You all have your duties. Let us make haste. May the Fury bless and keep you.
Got to be good. If this is the cold with Tataru's clothing, I dread to think how we'd fare without it. Must remember to thank her when next we meet. Gives me Realease too, that while the people of Garlemald have spent their whole lives in conditions like these, even they'd be hard-pressed to survive away from the warmth of their homes. If there are any survivors, we must find them quickly. What ho, chums! Been given something to do, have you? As it happens, I too have been ordered to make myself useful. Sounds like rather a tall order. Since you ask, we'll scour the Ablum Rime for survivors. What, wander around the ice fields on the off chance you find someone? You take forever to finish the job without the benefit of my expertise, or more specifically, my telescope. Come friends, I know just the spot to begin our search. I'll probably regret this, but we may as well humor him. I need to, go around and collect those at some point soon. I've really been paying attention to them. I spy with my little telescope a massive sheep thing. Maybe it's a cow. Not what we're after either way. Is that an ether current? No. Just a wind sprite. And that's all snow, snow, snow. But lo! What do I see o'er yon hillock? There's no mistaking it. That's a girl. A girl? Ooh. Survivor? Show me. Over there behind that tree. Looks like she's running away from something. Though, surely not us. She wouldn't even know we're here unless she had a telescope like mine. All I can tell is that she's wearing a pale green dress. A rather fetching one, at that. She'll be long gone by the time we get anywhere near, but we should be able to follow her footprints. I'll let Lucia know where you are heading. Oh, and take these warming tinctures with you. The poor girl must be chilled to the bone, not on the verge of freezing to death. That's actually very thoughtful, thank you. But won't you need some for yourself? No, I'll be fine. As a man of chivalry, my honor demands I do no less. At least forget, the very reason we are here is to protect those in need. Now, go. And Godspeed. Well, he did make himself useful. I like icy zones a lot. This might end up becoming my favorite over what was it? Western Highlands, yeah. Okay, east. We're getting closer. I'm sure of it. At first, we thought she'd gone inside the building. The door doesn't look to have been opened in some time. She might still be nearby, so we'll keep looking around here. Then again, it's also possible that she ran right past this place. Would you mind searching up ahead? Yes. Okay, another follow mission. I hate these most games. I wonder how they do it. So, not bad. Oh, she's hiding from these. Final spurt. Everything was still. It was then, waking up from a nightmare, I thought that maybe the fighting had stopped, so I stepped outside. If your hells are real, I saw one that day. I ran past friends, who I'd known all my life, eyes vacant, dead, staring at the sky. Others were mad and violent. I saw them struggle with soldiers, but didn't stay to watch. I fled as far as my legs would take me. No, this is Victor's Spoils, a mansion for retired soldiers. Or it was. Now me and a few others are borrowing it. As for the explosives, I was making that up. I just wanted to keep everyone else safe. I didn't know if you were... Truth is, our supplies are running low. You said you're here to help, can you? Of course. Thank you. I'd better tell the others first. Though, wait here. This is everyone. Lucina says you can be trusted, but these are desperate times. We'd be fools to let foreign troops into our home. Having said that, were you to provide us with the means of healing the place, as a sign of goodwill, perhaps we could take you at your word. If that is too much to ask, then leave us be. Time to put my firewood gathering skills to use. Could you provide the spark with a little magic, Alice? Lucina's inner turmoil is plain on her face. Sorry, I'm still finding it hard to come to terms with all that's happened. Now that you're here, though, I'm hoping things might change for the better. You know, I've worked up quite a sweat from all that running about, so I'll leave space around the fire for the others. As you can tell, they're in far worse state than me. They're planning to look somewhere warmer, or with more food, but they're not going anywhere unless we nurse them back to health, which I don't know how to do. Is there anything you can do to help them? Oh, it's a radio. I was really confused what it was. Okay. Just saying. I can treat their frostbite in the wounds, but it will take time for the fire to do its work. Now would be a good occasion to make use of elemental tinctures, ones that warm the body from the inside out. You make sure everyone gets one? Yeah, I got you. Here we go. Now let's begin its aside. Though I suspect once the fire dies, it will return with a vengeance. One for you. Warming tincture. I've never heard of such a thing. No harm in trying. But tell me, have you heard of aught of the city? Their calling it seems absurd after what's happened. It's nothing but ruins now. The few buildings still standing offer no more meager protection from wind and snow. Food protection, water purification. The magic tech that sustains us has come to a grinding halt. What machine that remains operational cannot be run for lack of ceruleum? Of course, cerulean engines is full of this stuff. All the good it does us. No one here knows the first thing about extraction or refinement. Oh, Juggalo is hiding. Ah, all is well. Yes, never better. Yo, what sweet relation is this? Is it poison, by any chance? Haha, 'twas a joke, a joke. Ha ha ha, 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 ah. If I laugh, 'tis that I may not weep, so said the poet. And alas, my tears would freeze on my cheeks ere they fell. We're the blessed damned to bear witness to the fall of the great empire, while our brethren lie dead or live on as puppets of flesh. First came the war, then came the roar. When the morning came, Garlemald was no more. The catastrophe of gunfire, explosions, and screams was our beloved capital razed to the ground. From the rubble rose the disheveled remnants, their lavish finery caked in ash as they shoveled mindlessly towards the palace, each bearing a fragment of stone or metal, offering perhaps to the architect of our destruction. A hopeful few tried to reason with the deranged, only to be beaten for their kindness. But I know better than to plead with the horde. I fled with my health, if not my conscience preserved, and I wait for my fellow cowards for our final judgment. Wow. What do you want? A tincture? May as well drink it, I suppose. This? It's a radio. You don't have them from where you come from, I take it. Use them to listen to messages sent by others, even over great distances. There are different types, but this model is far the most popular, made with quality components crafted with the finest ore. Sourced from Lucas Amonis, it is. Not all that useful since the capital fell into ruin. The people at the broadcasting station must either fled or ended up like all the others, because all we've been hearing is the same music, being played over and over again. Home beyond the horizon, an ode to the brave men and women sent to reclaim our ancestral homeland of Locus Amonis. May it founded an empire in these frozen wastes, but we always hope to take back what was once ours. 'Tis a solemn reminder that though we must suffer great hardship, better days will surely come. Despite everything, I believe that Emperor Varus yet lives, and that he speaks to us through our radios. It was a cunning strategy, faking his murder. He must have foreseen this catastrophe and chosen to conceal himself. He may one day make his triumph return. Yes, I'm sure of it. Emperor Varus would not be defeated so easily. What's that? So this is what you give the others. Thank you. I'll save it for later. Actually, I have a few things to ask you. Are you part of the group staying in Atirum? I saw Legatus Vergila's troops heading towards the Magna Glaciers a few days ago. Are they the ones you encountered? Camp Broken Glass, you call it. And Vergila and her men are all there now. So, how did you reach the Magna Glaciers? Did you cross the mountains on foot? Airships. Then there might be a way to... Perhaps a baby Husty has found his way into the house. It wouldn't be the first time. I feel like she's gonna want to steal those airships. Without the shoulders to scare them off, wild animals have been roaming closer to the settlements. Some have been known to attack people too. I've just had an idea. If you and yours are strong enough to defeat El Lagadas, then surely a few beasts shouldn't pose a threat. If you have a mind to continue helping us, so you could head to the other side of the lake. There's a small group of tappers living there, people whose job was to extract Surium. They still do, from what we can tell. I've already tried asking if they would share their fuel with us, but they're not willing to give it away. They want food in exchange, lots of food, and that's something we don't have and can't get on our own. On top of that, to even reach their den, we'd have to make our way past all those creatures. Would you be willing to go on our place? We'll need enough room to last until the others are strong enough to travel to your camp. If the others still stands, that is. Oh, and I don't expect you to give up your own supplies. There might be another way to pay the tappers. Thank you so much. To reach the tappers den, you'll have to cross the lake. The ice is thick enough to support a person's weight, but if you'd rather not take the risk, you'll need to take the long way around. Finding the entrance can be a bit tricky too. It's easier just to look for someone standing guard outside. However you decide to head there, please be careful. Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so we're going to this mountain over here. So I'm very suspicious of that girl. I don't know if I trust her. It seemed like she was up to something when she heard about the airships, especially. One of those tappers. Who goes there? How do you find us? What do you mean I stand out like a sore thumb? If the purebloods over at Victor Spoils hadn't given away our location, you'd never have found us. Those stuck-up arseholes thought they could come waltzing in here, demanding to them with nothing to offer in return. Ha! Looks like the boots on the other foot now that the capital's gone to shite. So they resort to sending you to negotiate? I know your game self-sword. If they think we'll give in to intimidation, we got another thing coming. Really? We have to fight? There you are. Just after you left, Lucina asked me to go catch up with you, in case you need a hand. Someone must have let slip that I've a little experience in transporting barrels of ceruleum. So, this is the trapper's den. Well then, after you. This guy's a horn. Who are you? What happened to the guards? Rosians and rebels here to save the people of Garlemald. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why in the hell would you pass up this chance to put those imperial bastards to the sword? Let me guess. None of you Garland. You're brought here from other lands. Girabania, Yangxia, Roja, Damaskia, to name but a few. Some dragged here against their will. Others fed bullocks about a better life. All put to work extracting ceruleum. All given the esteemed title of An, placing us firmly on the bottom rung of the ladder. But the old hierarchy means nothing in New Garland, says we. But the only thing that's escaped more or less unscathed is Cerulia Ingens, still sustaining us, even without our paymasters out of the picture. We heard you're experts in drawing up ceruleum from the bottom of the lake, but how do you do that if it's frozen over? Ha! Wouldn't you like to know? Trade secrets, I'm afraid. At any rate, it's not as if ceruleum is used for much these days. What with the city in ruins, we take enough to power our heaters and save the surplus for later. And though it helps stay off the cold, it does sod all about our hunger, unless we can trade it away. Speaking of which, be sure to tell your contingent we got ceruleum by the barrelful. If they're interested, we'll exchange it for whatever provisions they're willing to spare. You can certainly ask, but if you're all free to go now, why carry on living here? Free to go? Go where? Even if we manage to get back to our homelands, there'd be nothing left for us thanks to the Empire. And the knowledge and skills we've acquired working here would be practically useless outside of Garlemald. So we're staying for the time being, as long as there's a need for ceruleum. We'll find a way to get by, even if Garlemald, as we know it, is gone for good. Gone for good. Regardless of what the Isambard Continued does for the people of Garlemald, Empire itself is already a thing of the past. For many, that would be a cause of celebration, while for others, their whole way of life will have been turned upside down. After all the atrocities committed in the Empire's name, perhaps it is for the best that is consigned to history. But what of the ordinary people? Their lives, their stories, should they be forgotten too? I suppose there'll be plenty of time to ponder that later. For now, let's see about getting some ceruleum. So, you've come seeking some ceruleum, have you? What? Those purebloods up at Victor Spoil sent you? Turn to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I thought. Then again, Lucina's got her sister to think about. Her sister, but we only saw Lucina and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'd be any way to get it around here. I may have refused Lucina at first, thinking she'd come back with something in exchange. But I can spare them a bottle's worth of cerulean. Consider Wolf introduce me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them our way. You hear? I can't for the life of me think why Lucina would keep her sister a secret from us, but I'll ask about that once we deal with cerulean. Come on, let's hurry back. Man, all the zone music is really good. It's got like its own like unique like thing. I feel like a lot of the ones, there's a few that were really good in Shadowbringers, but a lot of it was pretty forgetful, I think. In my opinion, at least. Yeah, so that thing right there must be how they extract it. This isn't right. It's too quiet. I thought Alphanode would still be treating them by the fire, but nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house while you search outside. We can't have gone far. Yeah, something fishy is going on. Radio's gone, and oh, those guys are gone too. Behind the house? Okay, yeah, I see people over here. Oh, looks like they tried to fight him. They asked me to help to carry supplies, but when I followed them back here, they attacked me. Caught me off guard, forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared rather worse than me. You can't fool us. We know. We know what you're about. Vultures, that what you are. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness. Then in you swoop. Here to help? What rot. All a ploy to make us lower our guard. Let you in? Put ourselves at your mercy? Put us in chains? Steal our lands? Get your revenge? You're wrong. That's not what any of us want. I found empty medicine bottles in a bed that was still warm. It's true, Lucina was hiding her sick sister inside the house. But now, there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and yours, and if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiot. Her sister's ill. Empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry. Or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go alone? To protect them from you. You invade our homeland, tainted with the same source you used to slay our countrymen. Garland should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better from the fleet, keep their purity intact, than be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them since the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Lucina and her sister will react. Find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I need to tend to my injuries and theirs. I will join you in the search after. Alright, be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. Two set of fresh footprints. Young woman judging by the size. It's definitely them. Come on. The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as not to leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason. Look at this place. It's crawling with beasts, and I can only imagine how hard it is for her ailing her sister across the ice. We could really do with Alphamid's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. A big area to cover. Oh, there's one empty bottle here. Okay, not. Bruh. Shit's fucked up. Dead. Why though? We're just trying to help.
blood trail. We found one. They were attacked. No. Why wouldn't they?
Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold. I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there is something to the tale after all. I want to understand, so I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
Wow. The story is a lot darker than any of the other ones so far, too. And this is just the beginning. There must have been something we could have done, but what? If we had never come here, would they still be alive if we hadn't? We've already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is report to Lucina and do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. Let us linger here no more. Come. We'll just teleport back. Outside and F1 tell me they have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrain from saying much more than that. Clearly they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account?
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Populares, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's 3rd Legion clashed with the 1st, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events at the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Xenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the 3rd Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession, and in response, the 1st Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing, presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
I'd heard House Brutus had been filling the 3rd Legion's coffers, but the 1st as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the 1st Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, They somehow recall Emperor Varys giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varys spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you. A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
Garleans? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Jullus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the 2 of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the Garleans face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
A couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
Are you and the children ready? I'll explain the route once we're outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we judge it as an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less of our full cooperation. Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Okay? Children in the lead. I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. Alisai, and he's Alphanod. Last police, there's Matea. Matea, where have I heard that before? No matter. Alphanod and Alisai, watch the road ahead while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not saunter. Run towards the station. If you ever think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. God, I think we're going to that ether, right? I think. Oh, okay, right here. the first stop. Good. It looks like your friends know better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No. We're stopping here so we can check for pursuers. It appears you've kept to your side of the bargain. We can carry on. North of the station is Regio Dorium, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets and packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close. No wandering off. Understood? Yeah. Just want to see some of these coffers. Let's check out this chess piece. This looks like... Still not better than what I have at the moment. Yeah, I'll check it out for glam. Yeah. I'm good for what I have at the moment. From here, we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen? Spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. They will try to avoid detection. The chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. But I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back. I would not take that chance. That said, let us proceed. Old train over here. Oh, it caught me. Oh, I need to go over here anyway. I see why your comrades chose you. Realease or Canadian has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would be simply to force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they're no longer our people. They're beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come, we have to keep moving. Old train tracks. I haven't seen trains in this game really before. Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue onward. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before, only out of a desire to remain undiscovered. And that is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. Keep following the railway. Oh, that's right. Yeah, eventually end up over at the Ether. I guess it's past there somewhere though. Look at what they have become. You still stand there and claim that they can be cured? Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you've seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you think twice before speaking of the cure. There's something there though. Like inside, underneath the rails. Huh. Interesting. We're almost there. You've kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine. This way. Feels like I'm in Russia. Reminds me of Metro. Yeah, we're going like it's an underground like Metro railway or something. This is Titran, one of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I'll be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. None of them probably want to speak with me, to be honest. Yeah, just go ahead. Just want to see. I can see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed, and if Julius was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold. Much like victory spoils, it must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guest, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in locomotive over there. Tune to this ether right first. Interesting ether. Okay, don't really work, so
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Van Kina, Legatus of the First Legion.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varus understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
Yeah.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost. All because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, Why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not?
Yo.
Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you, if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up. As by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment. But there is one condition. Collar them.
Huh.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop! Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if she allowed herself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If she refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
You needn't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
Yo.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be. You will be their warden. Take them away.
Yes, sir.
As per Lord Quintus' instructions, I must supervise you during your time here in Tetrium. Before you ask, no, don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars, nor will I tell you if I did. If you tried anything, you soon wish you hadn't. So do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? We're in no hurry to disobey Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean, or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will, but remember, I'll be watching. If I catch wind of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick our people into turning their coats and the like, those shot collars will be the least of your worries. Understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. It's just splitting up and learning what we can of the situation. And above all else, don't use magics of any sort. You, on the other hand, may go wherever you wish, even outside the camp. I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. But do not forget, if you do anything to endanger us or our interests, Alphanode and Alcide will pay the price. That's nice. Octavia. It's you, Matea Brigade. I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventures, you killed them, my comrades, my friends, swept them aside in their dozens, as though they're nothing to you. Maybe I am too, just another faceless enemy to be cut down. It won't be long until our countrymen return, until you get what you deserve. Mark my words. So cold. I know who you are. The so-called champion of Uriza. Come to gloat, have you? I'll wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear, ugh. Damn. Tore the soldiers. Of all times, worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the third bleeding us, would be the end of you. Vajra's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus his life, but we made our escape, took shelter in the mansion, tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then night fell, and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar, a terrible roar. The capital was in chaos, but we were spared. If you can call this a mercy. Mind intact, but body broken. Soldier and name alone. I'd cut you down where you stand if I could. Murderer. Bruh. This shit is getting pretty dark, yeah. You came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you best keep your hands off that etherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by Guardians, for Guardians. You could teleport all over in a blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the etherite's power to keep this place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. you learn anything of note? Then your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at greatest risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will perish soon. Really, there's precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? No. Who's there? My eyes. I can't see all that well. Ah, thank you. The numbness has subsided a little. But I know, I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. Huh. So, those you met fare no better. I was afraid you would say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we may gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, that even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade them, though we need to persuade Julius first. Been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept some sort of way in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we've had a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel was the greatest concern, though. We had some cerulean set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees, or one of the afflicted for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's cerulean we need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. We can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. If we can hold on a little longer, the situation is sure to change. Aye, everything will change. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's a little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in the Bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telephoroi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. He identified the seat of the enemy's power, Realease. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with the provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telephoroi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need help now. Say the word and we will bring your cerulean. I will speak with Lord Quintus. So, did he agree to it? No. He will not place Garlemald in debt of our enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for Cerium outside. As you are under my watch, you will come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you're worth. Once we are outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. Depart shortly. We will begin our search for Cerium in Regio Urbanimissa. The first location is Forum Solius, a park to the northwest of this station. You are to remain close at all times and act as ordered. Follow me. So this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the empire, the great Solus Scalphus. Did we come to extract Cerium from the wrecked Magitek armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the machina in the vicinity. But as our Cerium has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see, and with your permission we will commence the search. Let me be paying attention for these more. We're actually using the ether compass. I have not been doing that. every time when we get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch her death walking around like that. The pond was heated. A cerulean-powered heater, by chance? I suppose it must have been. Come to think of it, I remember seeing engineers churning out a tank beneath a hatch. But that was a long time ago, when water still flowed clear and wasn't this blackish, brackish muck. We can't say a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. The machinery most likely broken. The amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I'd wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Goblin would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first vision has a few foreign signify and Medakai, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a load now. Alphanode, as you has a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once I've done, a blast of verifier should do the trick. Leave it to me. Of course I am. That tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed serum from a frozen lake, like how the tappers do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in the park. We have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane. So, fancy dip? Last time we need to do sketching. If you're that concerned for my well-being, you can dive in and help me look. The quicker we find the serum, the sooner we can get out of here. And there's some, that's it, and there's some cerium left. Oh, the fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alphanode a hand. Call me an Uldon, because by fire I am reborn. My clothes are mostly dry too. I appreciate you recovering the serum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated, Nor's quintessence, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did. not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire, ordered an estate. He lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family. Visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the light in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song, of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite, the ice would melt and the forgotten grass would make its triumphant return. Gray clouds gave way to blue skies. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest buildings we could find and watch the sun rise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble, those friends dead, and those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had, soon our chance will come. We just need to hold on a little longer. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, another location I'd like to search, just outside the park. As you can see, this place is littered with the remnants of various types of war mecha. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than praise them apart, piece by piece, it'd be quicker to remove the outer casing using combat explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. With the force generated by these devices relatively weak, I would advise you to stand well cleared to avoid being hit by any sharpnel. Before even bothering them, you should check the machines serially engaged to see if there's any left. Still provide an accurate reading, even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Understood, let's get to work. Boy. Oh, okay. First try. But more explosives? Wait, is that what I think it is? You've done again, truly. Luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we headed back. Wait here while I go and see how Alcai and Alpha Node are faring.
finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we? Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for.
Oh boy.
Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground. Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile. It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The time for action. What did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now, or after they join with the 10th, is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eula spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alize are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Get them out of here.
Down. Those are all done. New dungeon here. Alphen and outside will be fine, provided they do not resist. You will accompany me back to your camp, where I will meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus' demands. Before we depart, however, there's something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to Liges, Martinez, and Octavia, who pilot Magitech armor to your headquarters. You're to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the Ale for further details in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. You again. Ask the Ale, he said. So that's to be the way of it. After all this. How ironic. You should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it. For the glory of Garlemald. What do you want with me? Ask the ill. So Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand. He would recognize the savage is a ruthless, merciless creature. To defeat him, we too must be uncompromising. I am ready. In the name of Emperor Varus, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. Okay. Wonder what this ill is. Have you done as instructed? Do these rarely simple thing. You've been given additional orders that, although we will be required to follow them, depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There's one other matter, a place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. Short walk from here. Follow me. I was thinking again, like a screenshot.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was, until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. Promised.
Shit, it's deep.
The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center. The blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke. We should go.
It's no use. Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But she wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
No, how not? Oh boy. Oh, okay. I thought she was gonna go off.
It's so cold. Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varys at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people, one race cleansed of imperfections. A cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos, searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics, to see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams.
It's grown up a lot.
As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. I just wish he'd realize it too. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alisaie.
That was a nice moment.
The scouts have secured Alisaie and Alphino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald,
Damn.
of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return!
Stop! Both of you!
This child may be the worst emissary I have ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Ala Mhigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement.
See that faithful?
'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I. Memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
No, don't do it.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
Bruh. Wow. Wow. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. With the immediate crisis averted, Lucia seeks to gain a clearer understanding of the present situation. Before we proceed, tell me what you know of the First Legion and disposition of their forces. They're preparing for war while the refugees in their care were left to go hungry. A reckless, short-sighted plan that risks the welfare of the people that they are sworn to protect. Nevertheless, we cannot compel them to accept our aid. If we were to arrive in force with intent to do so, we would only incite panic, but perhaps they can be persuaded to follow one of their own. Go with Realease back to the station and have him lead the refugees here. Some may be unwilling or unable to leave, but for the time being, I'll take what I can get. Afnod, Ause, and the scout sent to extricate them should already be at the station. I will also have our other comrades in the area lend their support should it be needed. Understood. Oh, blue quest. Is this okay? I thought the name was something else for a second. Oh, they're on the other side of the wall. I see. I see. Ah, just who I was looking for. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Rimland of Ishgard. I've been put in charge for arrangements with the Tapper's Den, you see. However, there are a lot of Tappers come bearing Cerium has asked quite a lot of us, if I do say so. They wish for our help in getting Internet Platform G up and running. The very same platform that's at the head of the Imperial's primal energy pipeline. What's more, Zagarlan, I was convinced the only engineers left in Tapper's Den were from conquered territories. In any case, I'm not qualified to judge the motives of the man. I feel much more at ease if I had someone with your expertise helping make the call. I thank you for your willingness to assist. Let's go and speak with the Tapper in question, then. He's a man by the name of Appius. Well, I guess it's in the camp here. I'll get it since it's right over here. I was gonna sit on the side, but... I suppose he must be the friend Rimlod wanted to fetch. Oh, cutscene? Requested. This is the first one I followed up on too. You have my thanks for getting him to agree to my proposal. Do not misunderstand. I have yet to agree to any such thing. I merely wanted someone else present during our talk. Very well. Well, I do believe my proffered deal would be a boon to us and the Isabor contingent alike. I used to work on Jutura Platform G, you see, so I know more than most about the facility and its operation. That may be so, but your relationship to the facility notwithstanding, why should a Garland such as yourself still be taking refuge in the Tapper's Den? We've been led to believe that the former workers were starting over from other territories. You're right on the technicality. I was a supervisor, rather than your typical staff. When the platform went down, it only seemed right that I stay with my crew. I always thought we were close. Living aside them in Tapper's Den has made me realize that I looked to them and their skills for granted. I took them and their skills for granted. That's to say nothing of the blind eye I turned to their struggles. That's why I came to you. It's high time I be of real use to them, and everyone else, if we're lucky. We managed to get the platform back in working order. It would dramatically increase our capacity to pump and refine Cerium for everyone in the region. Sadly, we're more than a few hands short of a full workforce, not to mention the lack of supplies, which is precisely where you come in. Help us get things up and running again, and you'll have your share of Cerium coming out of the rig. You couldn't come up with a more mutually beneficial arrangement if you tried. So he says, what do you think? Seems trustworthy. Yes, I've been leaning the same way myself. Ultimately, what he says about the potential benefits is true. Nevertheless, I doubt the higher-ups would assent to this. I suppose that is how it goes when you're dealing with military types. For what it's worth, I do understand the hesitancy to throw your lot in with someone from a hostile nation. Thus, part 2 of my proposal. I shall do you a service to prove myself worthy of your continued trust. I had a look around the fringes of your camp here before you arrived, and I spotted a few Cerium images needing repair. I fixed them up, your superiors would have no reason to suspect that I want to see you driven out. Less reason in any case. Assisting us with the local technology would go a long way, I'd imagine. That said, I've not heard anything of the Cerium emeralds we scavenged breaking down. It's not as if they're entirely useless yet, but I guarantee they're not running as they should. Give me the opportunity and I can have them running more efficiently and safely. You're welcome to company while I do so. That way you can ensure that I don't get up to anything suspect, and then vouch for me with your superiors. I have no objections. I trust that you will sense anything amiss. Let's begin with the proper inspection then. And go back to work as soon as you're ready, Mateo. Yeah. So just do this now. The ultimate objective is to get the engines running at full capacity. The purpose of this inspection is to work out what parts we'll need. However, I would hate to fumble something and be accused of sabotage, so I'd appreciate if you could be the one to lay the hands on the devices. Never fear, I'll be right behind you, telling you what to look for. If we inspect, say 3 of them, we should have a decent idea of what needs repair. Either way. They really like these like unaccompanied like missions now. Interesting. That's cool though. Second, and then the third one inside there, I see. Praise be to your deft hands. I have an idea of what our next step ought to be, that perhaps it might be best to appraise Rimnod of our progress first. It's almost 4. Finish this up quick. How are our engines? Alas, I fear that each of these we examine are guaranteed to break down sooner or later should you continue using them in the current state. Surely you jest. I swear on my integrity as an engineer. You're in dire need of instruction and proper operation of the Cerulean engines. So the little lamp light up when you touch the switch, right? That only eliminates when there's an issue with the engine. They were switched off for want of fuel when the settlement was abandoned, no doubt, which prevented them from burning out. Only to let them freeze solid instead of your lot turned them on. In the state they're in, I can only assume it didn't occur to you to warm them up first. I notice you have heating technology of your own, but it will do you no good should the engines to power them break. Now will it? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain from my assistance. I'm machines from Frozen and Cleanse myself, and what you say sounds plausible enough. Very well, on behalf of the camp, I formally ask you to repair the Cerulean engines. I suppose that means I would be taking responsibility if anything goes wrong, so you may as well use your own 2 hands this time. That's spirit. I knew you'd come around. Yeah. I'll go back to quest leader. Okay. I'm gonna head back to the camp. And then I'm gonna call it a night here soon. I just want to not leave this like as a cliffhanger tonight. I want to finish this up. It's part of the story, so. Leave me be. Let me be. Almost there. What are you? You look dangerous. Yeah, it's a level 90. I'm gonna stay away. Matea and Julius. We arrived just before you did, and too late. Too late for what? What's happened? It's Lord Quintus. He took his own life. After the news about the 10th, he relieved us of our duties. Then, when he was alone, he... No, he wouldn't. Tancred and the others, especially the soldiers, have seen to the remains. In due course, shall the Gatus be afforded a proper burial. He released us from our duty. He wanted us to be free to choose our own fate. Without him to guide us, I have just this moment spoken with Lucia. We're ready to commence the transfer of the refugees here to Camp Broken Glass, should they be willing to accept our aid. Some would rather die, but most of us just want to live. Songs and standards be damned, we just want to live. We'll need to speak with the refugees. They'll have to decide for themselves if they wish to come with us. If any would prefer to stay, we can have supplies brought over for them. It will be a hard journey for the others, but we'll see that they reach our camp safely. I... curious what you guys. Okay, so that's what we get from Okay, so it's more Asian things. Thanks for that. 81. It was only a dream, wasn't it? To think we could reclaim it. We would build it all ourselves. Before this began, I sent my wife and daughter away to the provinces. If there's a chance I might see them again, I'll take it. So take me. Take me with you. Please. Well, got the Aetherite sword in the end. All it took was a few adjustments, and now it works as well as it ever did. From what I can tell, the one lantern is also functioning normal. That's where you lot are staying, isn't it? Now, that most of us are packing up and leaving this place, I reckon they'll be used for me and my skills over at your camp. This is where it happens. Let's not dwell on it. Now when there's work to be done. Why? Yeah. That's crazy. And those players don't even know. A lot of them. Ah, it's you, the one who treated me with such kindness. I heard from the others that you're not from around here. Heh. Thought you were one of us. Not that it makes a difference now. Much difference now. Purebloods, migrants, savages. After a while, the world starts to lose its meaning, until all you're left with is anger and fear and hate. And I'm too tired. If you and yours have come to offer aid, I'd be glad to accept. We have much to discuss. A rescue, attacking Camp Broken Glass, we'd hope to talk about with Quintus. But all of that can wait. More urgent matters demand our attention. Are any of the refugees willing to come to our camp? Thank the 12. Thank the 12. You and I should go first and secure the route back to Camp Broken Glass. With all the creatures and tempered lips skulking about, I expect we'll have our hands full. This should come in handy. Conqueror's Chain, courtesy of our limits of friends. I'd save it for the tempered though. I'll mark a few points that need serving on your map. Once you've taken care of the riffraff, we'll meet you back at our camp. Can I tune to this now? Okay, I can. Nice. Excuse me, ma'am. Have you seen a little boy with hair a similar shade to mine? He's my son, and I can't find him anywhere. It all started when I told him we ought to seek refuge in the encampment. And he started wailing and sobbing like I'd never seen. Next thing I knew, he was running hell for leather goodness knows where. I'm worried he may have left the station altogether, and the streets above are rife with danger. Please, could you help him find me for me? Oh, he will? Bless your heart. If I know my son, he's probably tried to return to our house to the north of Patimnovia. Try that first before anywhere. He'll be easy to recognize, I think. with the color of his hair and all. Okay. I'll pick that up later. I'm going to go to these spots though. Hello, walking. This is a shit ton of damage. Do I have to? Okay. Oh, I guess it's a fate people are trying to. You see no threats on the path ahead. Okay. So we go to the next one. Okay, okay, I guess that Kimitachi makes up for. That skill does quite a bit of damage, more than that I thought. Yeah, so it does 550. I think that has to be more than Raiton. And then it's a little less so than Triple Shuriken. Kyosho Run. Let's see. Yeah, this is 1200. Raiton is... Okay, I guess it's a little less. Oh, it seems like it's a lot. Well, it's an AoE, so it does multiple, so it's really good though. And it adds onto a few times. Ah, there you are. As expected, I ran into a few beasts who went down without much of a fight. Temper proved somewhat troublesome, but these chains should keep them under control until our allies take them into custody. With that taken care of, I'm to gather a few supplies and then return to the station. While I'll see to that, would you mind appraising Lucia of her progress? As it happens, I have some rather pertinent information from a recent scouting forays. I'll save that for later. First things first, and all that. Wait. Matea, I was informed of Quintus' suicide. It must have come as a great shock to his men. Whether refugees, I'm told they were receptive to a proposal, but I would love to hear your first-hand account. That so many did not hesitate to accept proves how desperate the situation has become. We'll do our best to make them feel welcome. The troops who participated in the ambush are no exception. They will be afforded the same treatment as any other refugees, purity notwithstanding. After all, even if I want to make an example, there's no one left to learn from it. We will tell our allies that these soldiers were acting under the direct orders of their legates, and following the suicide they offered a full and unconditional surrender. Perhaps Quintus thought had he lived, he would be tried as a war criminal, and his men punished with him. Perhaps by taking his own life, he hoped to absolve his men of any culpability, or perhaps like too many others, he was a true believer to the end. Who can say? I didn't know the man, or his heart. His reasons, noble or otherwise, died with him. It falls to us to clean up the mess. I assume you're curious about how matters have progressed here in your absence. Quite well, as it happens. Now that we've procured cereal from Tapper's Den, recently repaired heaters can provide much needed warmth. Furthermore, we've prepared sufficient food for everyone. Those from Trim shall find a hot meal waiting upon their arrival. There's one for you, so go ahead and get some well-earned rest. I believe that we're capable of wielding a ladle or two without your assistance. On your way, might I ask you to seek out Y'shtola. She was recently attending to the wounded, but she's meant to be taking a rest herself. See that she is. Oh, now we got many like requests. Nice. Yes. I have been taking proper breaks and finding sufficient water. What was the warrior like? You and the twins have an established history of reckless disregard for your own well-being. We're all fortunate that none of you lend yourselves in my care. I've already quite enough to deal with between the tempered and the first wounded. Alas, though, I can mend their bodies. The toll their experience of taking on their hearts and minds is another matter altogether. For their sakes, we mustn't waver, but nor must we rush ahead in eagerness to see the day won and in so doing invite disaster. Okay. I will put this aside looks like there's a bunch of cutscenes, and I want to be more awake and able to focus so I can take it all in. So I think I'm going to call it here. Yeah, it's 4 in the morning also. And my ass hurts from sitting in this chair for a while. Even though it's a nice chair. I've been sitting in this chair since like 7 o'clock. Because I had been binging MSQ. And then I did maps. And then I went back to MSQ. Like I played about a total of 9 hours tonight. So I'll call it here. And I'll probably play tomorrow night. It's 4 in the morning. So I'm probably not going to play tomorrow morning. I'm going to go do some Uber X photography with my friends. Go out and explore. And I'll be back. And yeah, I'll stream it again. I know no one's watching really, but I'm just doing it so I have some footage I can go back. And so I can actually just say out loud the non-voice cutscenes. I feel like it's actually helping me understand the story more. But anyways, I am going to go to bed. Toodles.